Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly pop culture wrap-up. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly pop culture wrap-up. It's the show where I go over the week's pop culture news, mostly comic books and movies. So let's get right into it. Planet of the Apes from Marvel Comics debuts in April of 2023. It will be written by David F. Walker with artwork by Dave Walkner. Now, Planet of the Apes initially was published by Marvel Comics in the comic book form, right? Then it wound up moving to Dark Horse, over to Boom, and it's been bouncing around here and there. It was announced several months ago that Marvel had reacquired the license to publish Planet of the Apes material. We got a new series on the way. I am a fan of David F. Walker. He is the co-creator of Bitterroot. He is the co-creator of Naomi, and he had an excellent run on Power Man and the Iron Fist not too long ago. So I'm excited what he does bring to this property. Guardians of the Galaxy gets a new series in April, just in time for the May release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the final chapter in the James Gunn Guardian trilogy. This one will be written by Jackson Lanzing and Colin Kelly with artwork by Kev Walker. Now, Lanzing and Kelly have become kind of go-to writers at Marvel right now. They're doing Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, and I thought that started off decently, but I kind of fell out of it. Maybe I need to jump back into it. They had that Kang series. They've been getting a lot of work here and there, and even spearheading the little mini event Captain America Cold War in the spring of 2023, which means that Marvel has a lot of faith in Lanzing and Kelly, and so they're showing that faith by bringing them to Guardians of the Galaxy ahead of a big tentpole movie release. Kev Walker on the art. There's been Kev Walker books that I've loved. Kev Walker books I thought were just okay. We shall see. We've seen the designs. It seems like this focus of this series is going to be the Guardians out there on unexplored, undocumented planets, more frontier-like, more Western, more barbaric, stuff like that. And it's related to this event called Grootfall, which just, you can speculate what that means. I think it means a big wave of trees taking over everything, like that Captain Planet Don Cheadle thing. I mean, let's do that, Marvel. Hulk is being canceled at issue number 14. We already knew that it's lost its writer, Donny Cates. He's also off of Thor right now, though they do promise that he's working on some big top-secret mission, maybe with Greg Capullo. However, we have Ryan Ottley, the artist on Hulk, who's been taking over the writing duties for these last few issues. I'm excited to see how he develops these ideas and brings it to a satisfying conclusion. Feels like this is abruptly cut short, right? However, once it's done, Otley said that maybe there's going to be the occasional Marvel gig here and there, but he's going back to doing creator-owned stuff. So Hulk will end at issue 14. Barbaric from Vault promises the year of the axe in 2023, and they are definitely going to deliver. So we have the start of what is considered Book 2, Hell to Pay, in just a couple weeks. And then in May, we get a one-shot, Queen of Swords, with artwork by Colin Powell. In June, we get a secret Barbaric project. Then we get another one-shot in September, The Wrong Kind of Righteous, and then another secret Barbaric project in October, and then the official book 4, Born in Blood, starts in winter. So yes, this is definitely, for Vault, going to be the year of Barbaric. I think it's their best series going right now, and they definitely need to lean into it, and I think it's good that they are. And I love the approach of a series of miniseries, a series of one-shots. Some are part of the main narrative, other are little side stories, little side adventures, little things that develop other aspects of that world. You know what it reminds me of? His name was Hellboy. Anyway, then we got Black Hammer, The End from Dark Horse Comics, 4 issues, starting in March by Jeff Lemire, of course, and Malachi Ward. Now, I have people on the channel, people in the comments, they always say I don't give enough love to Black Hammer. Now, I used to cover Black Hammer all the time. It was one of my top 5 favorite books when it first debuted, or top 10, I should say, when it first debuted. I loved Black Hammer. I read the initial 12 issues. I read a bunch of those miniseries, but I just kind of fell out of it a little bit during Reborn. We had a couple issues that kept getting shorted. They were delayed. They were late at my shop. I just fell behind, but I do vow to get caught back up on Black Hammer. In fact, probably just do a complete reread from the beginning up to this point so I can be ready to cover Black Hammer, The End, in March of 2024. Black Hammer, by the way, Jeff Lemire's superhero universe, but he likes to play with common ideas, and he plays around with things structurally and timeline-wise, and it's a really well-developed superhero universe that is definitely something that I do need to talk about more here on the channel. Stephen Amell is going to be returning to the Arrowverse as the character of Green Arrow in the final season of The Flash. Now, I dropped out of all those CW shows years ago, but I know some people are still hanging on, and at the final season of The Flash is out. You know, I honestly thought they had already done the final season of The Flash. However, Stephen Amell's back as Arrow, so that's cool. There's the new Renfield trailer starring Nicolas Cage as Dracula and Nicholas Hoult as Renfield, the titular character. Renfield, of course, from the Dracula novel and from the Dracula movies. He's the fly-eating servant of Dracula, right? Played by Dwight Frye in the original Bela Lugosi picture, which I absolutely love. Played by Tom Waits in the Francis Ford Coppola version. I'm excited for this. The trailer is incredibly cheesy. It's very campy, very comedic, but it still has a thread of serious threat to it. I've heard it being compared to the vibe that we get from Fright Night, the original Fright Night, which is one of my favorite 80s vampire movies, of which there are tons of great 80s vampire movies. But it does, I get the comparison. It does feel like it's going to be able to balance the threat of a real supernatural vampiric force with the comedy angle that they're approaching to it. And it's got a little bit of a superhero tinge to it, just a tiny bit. I'm rather excited to see what they do with that. But then there's the Evil Dead Rise trailer. Holy cow, that trailer blew me away. I loved it. Now, trailers don't always necessarily show accurately what the experience of watching the film is going to be, but if we get just as little, we get like 65% of the intensity of that trailer in the film, I think it's going to be solid. Bruce Campbell's back to produce. I believe Sam Raimi's back to produce as well, but I love the idea of doing something set in world, modern day, but not bringing back legacy characters or anything like that. As much as I would love to see, once again, Bruce Campbell come back as Ash, I do believe that time has passed. I'm glad that he's still involved, and I'm glad that because that means that the spirit of the original still might be there. I love the entire Evil Dead franchise. I often quote or cite The Evil Dead, the original one, as one of my favorite horror films of all time, and it absolutely is. Definitely my favorite movie of 1981. For sure. But I absolutely love the Evil Dead franchise. I'm excited for this. The trailer looked good. It looked gnarly, looked creepy. Looks like it's got all of those elements of shock and gore and ridiculousness that we come to know and love about the Evil Dead franchise. So I'm really, really pumped for that. And then Michael Giacchino, fantastic composer, first-time director for the Werewolf by Night Marvel Studios special presentation, is going to be directing Them. That's right, the remake of that 1950s giant ant movie. I used to love that movie back when I was a kid and into high school. I was watching the VHS. Even in my early 20s, I had the DVD, and I watched it a couple times. Haven't seen it since then. Might need to dust off that Them movie and pop that in. That ridiculous 50s atomic era sci-fi horror cheese. But Michael Giacchino's doing something with it, and seeing the love and the care that he gave to, say, like 30s and 40s Universal in the Werewolf by Night special, really excited to see what flair he brings to the 50s with Them. That's going to be really cool. So that's what we got for you. What's coming up here at PCP? Well, we got some shows kicking off their 2023 seasons, including Dylan's Horror Show tonight over at Dylan's Horror Show. Link in the description below, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be talking about Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Terrifier 2 was definitely a horror fan favorite of 2022, and Dylan wanted to get right into it, but he's got to talk about Terrifier, the original, as well. So join us for that double feature presentation tonight on Dylan's Horror Show, and then Monday night, with the return of PCP Movie Night. We've had like 3 weeks off, but we're excited to come back, kick off the 2023 PCP Movie Night season with an in-depth analysis and review of John Carpenter's They Live. That's right, we'll be wearing our teen dog shades, and we will be diving deep with our eyes above, staying wide awake, watching and talking about They Live from John Carpenter, a great film and a great way to kick off PCP Movie Night in 2023. Thank you all so much for checking out the video. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment about anything you think about any of the news we covered or anything we missed. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Station. Pop, pop, boom!